Hello good people of the internet, my name is Andy and you're watching Geek Curio, and today I'm going to be painting this Borg Cube. Hello there and welcome back. So to give you a little bit of background, last year I picked up a copy of Star Trek Adventures. And basically, I've always liked, I like playing RPGs, and I also quite like Star Trek as well. I really got into watching some of the old episodes of The Next Generation and Voyager on Netflix. Back when I was a kid, the only one that I could actually watch was Next Generation, and there was a lot of times where we'd end up just missing like full episodes because, I don't know, something happened. And back then, when I was a little one, we only had live television. We didn't have any pause, rewind. There was no streaming services. So being able to watch all the old episodes and actually being able to catch up with the full story and history on Netflix was fantastic. And so when I heard that there was a Star Trek RPG game, I was naturally sold on it. Now, I would like to go into a proper review of this at some point in the future. But just a quick overview, it's a 2D20 system, which means you actually have to combine a skill and a profession in order to perform an action. That's going to be a little bit too much for this video. Like I say, today we're only going to be painting this Borg Cube. And this is actually a 3D printed Borg Cube. Got this available free on Thingiverse. And my friend Gareth managed to print it out. It came in two parts. And I'm just going to show you up on this camera. As you can see where it has printed, it's not perfect, but for the purposes of the game, it's going to work just fine. So I don't normally do anything without coming up with a plan first. So how am I going to do that? Well, I saw a video from Mighty Lancer Games where they showed the new technical paint from Games Workshop called Tesseract Glow. And when I was busy interviewing Mighty Lancer Games, just outside of the interview I was showing Nathan this, and he said exactly the same thing. He said Tesseract Glow would look really, really good on it. However, I do recommend you check out the video from Mighty Lancer Games. They show what Tesseract looks like with lots of different paints underneath it. But like I say, I'm looking to try and get the Tesseract Glow in the recesses. Have had a look at a few reference photos, and I can see that the green light tends to emanate from random areas on the cube. But what I want is basically Tesseract Glow in the lower reaches and a much darker colour on top. And for now I've just decided to settle on a metallic spray. So I'm going to be using Humbrol's aluminium or aluminum, depending on where you're from. And that's going to be serving as a base coat on this. I'm then going to be using Tesseract Glow, which comes from Citadel paints, which is sold by Games Workshop. And I can see it's going to need a lot of shaking. I have literally been shaking this for about 20 minutes before the video's been on. And quite a lot of the pigment hasn't quite mixed in yet. But what I'll be doing is I'll be smothering the cube with that first. And then what I'll be doing is doing a very heavy dry brush, almost a wet brush of black or another colour over the top. This is the point where I'm probably going to need to make a decision once I actually see what the cubes look like. And then I've also got, this is something that I just picked up while I was out in town recently, and it's called the Game Wash Dipping Formula from Veleco. So this is new to me. I haven't even opened the seal yet, as you can see. So I'm going to be checking out what this is like. I don't know if it's going to be like the army painted dip or not, but we shall see. It's going to be a good little experiment. Failing that, if I don't go with that, I'll probably go with a nil-no wash so it doesn't look too green and glowy, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm back. It turns out, obviously, if anyone's doing any Vatican priming, it is recommended that you do it in a well-ventilated area. So what I did, I ran downstairs, hence the reason why I'm out of breath, and got the Borg Cube primed. So I don't know how well this is coming up in the light, but that is now a lovely, shiny aluminium colour. So hopefully you'll be able to see that on the smaller cam. Also, because I'm extremely immature for my age, I also spray painted my glove, so that was fun. Yes, so this is drying really quick. The Humbrol paints are quite good. I've had a few of these over the years. I was able to get quite a nice effect. They come in lots of matte colours. I think there's some gloss colours as well. I've got a few over there. And they're quite inexpensive. I mean, that's like £5.50, I think. Yeah, so check them out from your local hobby store. They're just useful to have anyway. So this is pretty much dry already. So this needs a bit more shaking on the pigment. Last thing you want to see is me shaking for the next half hour. Although there's probably some people out there who would be more popular. Okay, so welcome back, and finish mixing that all in. It's looking quite good. I'll just quickly show you that colour. I think that's a lovely green, and it's got quite, I mean, it's quite heavily pigmented, but very high on the medium as well. So I think it's the metal's gonna really shine through this. So I'm just gonna put it on a few areas first, just to see what sort of effect it's gonna have. But the chances are I'm probably going to be going over the entire thing. I don't know if you can see that, but that is exactly the effect that I want. I don't think it's a good idea for me to do the whole cube like I was originally planning on doing. I think really I want to be focusing on spots over the cube and aiming to get a lot of the recesses done. So just going to go for quite a random smattering on each cube face. And I'm going to see if I can learn how to do time lapses now. Right, so that's pretty much every side of the cube has got a random pattern around it. And already I'm really liking this paint. However, this is the first time I've ever used this paint, and the only times that I've seen it used before has been on other YouTube's videos. So I'm going to give that a good long while to dry. I'm assuming it's going to be it seems to be the same sort of consistency as a wash. So they normally take about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is have a good half hour, maybe longer break, and I'll be back to see what the end result is like. And then we'll look at possibly adding a darker recess shade and building up the stronger, darker colours, darker metallic colours on the outside, because I really need to think about how I'm going to do that. Okay, so it's taken a little bit longer than 40 minutes to dry. So in fact it's been about an hour. And as you can see, we've got this lovely metallic sheen. And what I've done is I've put the Tesseract Glow in a random pattern around the cube. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be using a bit of Leadbeltcher. So Leadbelcher is, to be honest with you, anyone starting out with miniature painting, especially the Games Workshop stuff, you'll probably find that this is probably going to be your main go-to metallic. It works brilliantly as a base colour. It's quite thick as well, so I'm not going to thin this down, because what I want to do is I want to be able to put a full layer of Leadbelcher over the top so that the Tesseract Glow will stay in the recess, and what we'll have is a much darker cube in the end. So I'm going to do that now, and once again I'll probably time lapse this. Right, well, that's it done for now. So I'm quite happy with the effect. You're probably not seeing this at its very best at the moment. It is still quite a bit sticky and tacky from the paint that I used. And like I say, I've been going over with unwatered down, so like I say, I don't add anything to it. It's just pure Leadbelcher. And the reason I haven't added any water to it is because I want to have that very strong pigmentation. And I also don't want it running into the cracks where I've already put the Tesseract Glow. So I want to be able to get the raised surfaces. So what I'll do, I'll take a few photographs of this part of the progress so you can see. And what we're going to do next, once this is all fully dry, is we're going to go in with this Veleco game wash. Now I have opened it because I was quite interested to see exactly what it is. And the weird thing is, it smells like banana milkshake. It doesn't look like banana milkshake obviously, but it does smell like it. But I don't recommend drinking paint, no, not at all. However, I'm hoping that when I accidentally put my paintbrush in my mouth like I normally do, I will get a nice pleasant banana milkshake smell or taste rather than the normal really sharp and sour taste that I get from the Games Workshop washes. So anyway, I'm going to let this dry, and the next part is going to be applying the wash. Okay, so I'm going to start begging for forgiveness now, because while I was waiting for the Leadbelcher to dry, I decided to open my Spotify account and listen to some music. And while I was listening to music, I just got carried away and went full on with the game wash from Veleco all over the miniature. So, and then I only realised my mistake when I had actually finished doing all the sides, and I was trying to work out a way to stand it in a way that it will dry properly. So forgive me for not showing the actual painting that I did, but essentially what I was working with was, I mean, to be honest, this is probably going to be my new favourite thing. I don't know if it's going to be ready to overtake Null Oil as my new favourite thing, but it's brilliant. It's really thin, so you do use quite a bit. There's some very strong pigmentation, so try and imagine it's a lot thicker than Null Oil. But it's just a very high pigmentation, very thin wash, and it works really, really well. And just going to bring this up to the camera here, and again, you're not going to be able to see it very well, to be honest, but I just love how it's just really dirtied the cube down. And even though it's getting into the nooks and cracks, it's not really affecting too much the Tesseract Glow. So you still got that green coming out under these different layers of metals that I've got. So right at the lowest layer you've got the aluminum, you've got the Leadbelcher on the outer layer, and then you've got the Veleco wash just tying everything together, and I think it looks really, really great. And I can't wait for when this is all dried. I think I might even do a second coat of the Veleco wash, and I know they call it a dipping formula, but unfortunately the first thing I decided to use it on is way bigger than the actual pot. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be dipping that in there. But yeah, I mean, it's probably one of those things where if I actually took my time, I'd probably do one side, let it dry, do another side, let it dry. But you're looking at 6 sides on a cube. Yeah, 6 sides. And I'm probably going to be guessing about 30 minutes, and I just don't have that much time. So I've got to be getting on with some commissions on the weekend. So, but no, I'm really happy with that. Yeah, I think a second coat will probably help tie it all together. I was thinking I might need to go back to the Tesseract Glow, but I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I need it. I think it's got that the colour itself is subtle enough to see that it's a living, breathing Borg Cube, and I'm sure that will actually put the fear of God into the players when they come across that. So I'm going to let that dry. The next stages will probably be a second game wash, so I'll do my best to actually show you that next time. And then I'll probably, what I want to do is basically, I was really thinking about the outer colour, and when I went and looked at reference pictures, I think the Borg cubes kind of look a bit brownish in a way, and I think that's more down to rust, though I don't know if anything can actually rust in space, I don't know, but either way, it's the whole point of the outside of the Borg cube is to absorb damage. They're not built to be pretty, they're built to be functional, they're built to be solid. So getting some sort of rust tones dry brushed on it later is definitely what I want to do to finish it all up. So yes, I'm going to let the game wash dry. Probably going to go with another game wash. It is getting quite late here in the UK. You can see Mr. Sunshine is starting to disappear. So a very good chance I probably will be finishing this off tomorrow, especially with the amount of banana milkshake that I've managed to get in my hand. Don't eat it, don't drink it, don't lick it, trust me. I've done that so you don't have to. It tastes completely different to what it smells. This is Lola, so she was having a bit of a cry earlier and wanted to sit on me, so she's going to sit on me for a bit. So, but anyway, we're all dry with the Borg cube, and what we're going to be doing next is I've got some Mornfang Brown, which I'll be dry brushing over it, and then what I'm also going to do, I'm going to go back with the Tesseract Glow, and I'm going to put it in places to make it look like, not just go over the areas that I had before, but basically just centre it so it looks like the glow is actually so it makes it look like the glow is actually emanating from somewhere. So I'm going to have the recording on for this. I'm also watching a fantastic stream at the moment with the very talented Raven Elf. She streams on Twitch and she is absolutely amazing. So if you don't know who she is, I do recommend you check her out and check out her Twitch streams. They're really good. So I'm gonna unmute Raven Elf and just get on with the painting. Right, so I'm not too sure if Lola wants to be an internet celebrity anymore, but she's sticking around for now, aren't you, Lola? So what I've done is I've basically dry brushed the entire thing with Mornfang Brown. I've probably picked out a little bit more than I planned to, so I might go over that with a Leadbeltcher again, just to dampen it down a bit. So, but with the green just showing through, I think that's fantastic. You getting down? Do you want a hand? Sorry, she's an old lady. We don't talk about her age. She gets very sensitive about it, but she's 11 now, and this is just going to be a light dry brushing just to bring it back to the silver metallic side. So very quick. I probably won't even need that much, to be honest. Yes, it's taken the edge off that brown now. If you've made it this far and you like what I do, please hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more of me, by all means hit the subscribe button as well. Don't forget, if you want to be notified, there's a little bell button, and then you can find out when I post my videos. If you have any feedback or comments about the Borg Cube, like I say, I've done something. There's no wrong or right way of painting, but this is a style that I had in my head. It's not that far off it. I probably will go with a bit more orange or something in the future. But yes, back to the point. If you have any feedback or suggestions or you like the cube, you hate the cube, and you feel you want to voice that opinion to me, by all means use the comments below. I do read each and every one of them. So in the meantime, as always, stay safe and take care.